Hello guys, in this video we'll be creating a new React Native application using Expo Router. With Expo Router you can add a file-based router to your application. This means that any files added to the app directory will automatically become a route and users can navigate seamlessly to different parts of your application. Let's get started. Alright, there is an examples directory within the Expo's GitHub page or the Expo's GitHub repository, where you can choose from a variety of examples here. We can have Expo with Gatsby, with icons, with PDF, but in our case, we are looking for Expo with router. And if we go into the directory of with router, we can see in the README file, there's an example or a command on how to create a new Expo app using the router. So in our case, we'll copy that and then I'll open up my terminal page here, copy that command where I want to create the new application. And yes, I want to proceed here and I'll name my app my new app. Then files will be downloaded, npm install will be ran. So when you open the application, it'll be ready to go. You can just run npx expo start and start the application, but we'll take a look right after this is finished. And there it is. We have the iOS simulator open with our new app. But to start, you probably can't tell, but if I move myself from here, you can see there is a touch command at the bottom of the screen. And what this command is doing is just adding an index file to the app directory. And remember, all the files in the app directory will create or will become a route in your application. So what we'll do here is run this touch command just by clicking on it in our simulator. This will create a new route in our application by creating this index.js. This will be the default route or the main route in our application. And there it is. If we take a look at the index file within our app directory, we can tell that there's a sample code or a sample component with the hello world logic in here that we can then modify. We can change it to hello guys, save, and we'll see that update in our Expo Router application. And for this video, I created a simple index page so I can show you guys the benefit of using Expo Router. I'll copy that code over here, refresh the app, and show you guys just the meat of the project. Here is this section here where we are rendering the header at the top and then a flat list, which is coming from the React Native library. And this flat list is taking three main props. The first one is the data, which is an object of houses. These are the houses that you're seeing on the screen. Then another prop, which is render item, we're passing a function. We'll take a look at that function very soon. And the key extractor, which is extracting a key from each of the items that we are rendering on screen. If we go to the render house function here, we can see that it's just taking that one item that we render from the flat list and rendering an image with two texts at the bottom. This is simulating a real estate application, so it's just showing an image at the top for each one of the items, then a text at the bottom of the image with the description and another text with the price. What we are trying to accomplish here is when we click on the image, we want to go to a separate page. We want to go to a new page. So we can then go from this list into another page that would just show the one house that you selected from this list. What we want to do now is to convert this image component into a link component. So when the user clicks on an image, they'll be redirected or they'll be linked to a new page with only that one house they selected. And for that, we need to import the link component from Expo Router. The link component is similar to the A tag if you've developed a web application before, similar to the A tag using the href attribute, and we'll see how that works in our application here. First, we'll create the link component, and what we will be passing to it will be the href attribute as a prop. So I'll start with an href. It'll take in an object, and in that object we have different parameters. The first one would be the path name, and the path name is the link or the page that we want to link to. We can call this single house screen for now. And the other prop that we're passing here is the params props, and this will take an object with the values that we want to show in the new screen. So these are pretty much the values like the image, the description, and the price that we want to be showing in the next page. So we'll do price, item price, description, item description, and finally the image, which will also be coming from item image. All right, so for now we have the link component with the path name that we want to link to, the params that we're passing into the next page. But by default, the link component renders its values as text, or renders its children as text. And to avoid that, because what we want to pass is an image, to avoid that, we are adding the prop as child here. This will allow us to then pass a component, and the parameters from link will be passed to the component, to the child component. And then inside link, we will pass a pressable component. This is from the React Native library, and we'll be passing the image component in here as a function here. So we'll take that image component that we have down here and paste it in here inside the pressable component. All right, it looks like we got the link component with the href, the path name, the params that we're passing into the image component. Now we are going to be clicking on that image, but we'll get an error because we don't have the single house screen yet. But let's just click on it. Yep, a match route. Page could not be found. So what we can do is just refresh for now and create that single house screen. And I've already created something for this, so I'll paste that component. And what I'm doing here is adding a single house screen component. And as you can see here, we got a view rendering the single image of the house we want to take a look at, the house that we just clicked. And then we're showing the price, the description, and some other components in there with other views, section with the comment, and a text area to add the comment and submit the comment for the house. Right now that's not functioning, it's just visual, but we'll take a look at this here right now. Now if we go here and click on any of the images, this will take us to the single house screen where we are just rendering that one house that the user just clicked. Now, for the back button, this is an interesting one. I added a back button here. It's a different component, but what I'm doing here is passing an on press to that back button. And for that onPress prop, I'm passing a back function. But what's interesting is that this back function is coming from the use router library, or actually the use router hook, which is coming from the Expo Router library. So I'm just declaring back from use router and passing it as a prop to my back button. So when we click on back, it'll take me back to the page that we were previously on before we clicked on an image. And there it is. We've created a new React Native application using the Expo Router. First, we saw how we created the index page for it to be the default route for our application, or the main route to the application. Then from there, we added a link that would redirect us to a new page inside the app directory. So we ended up with two files inside the app directory. One was the index file, which is the default route, and then a second one, which is a single house screen, to then navigate the users from the index route to the single house screen using a combination of the link component from Expo Router, using that as a child prop. Very important if we want to pass the parameters from the link component to the child component inside link, and then passing, in our case, we pass the image to make that image pressable, and that's the image that will route the user to the new page. And then we made use of the use router hook here in the single house screen. Use router, we declared back, or use back from the use router hook to then go back to the original page that we were coming from. In this case was our default or index route. And that's all we have for today. I hope you guys liked this video and learned something new. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.